Welcome to Pawnee, Indiana, the greatest town in America, the fourth obese city in America, and home to Sweetums and everybody's favorite mini horse, Little Sebastian. Today, we will be talking about one of the greatest television shows of all time, Parks and Recreation. Over the course of this podcast, we will be discussing iconic characters, memorable moments, and how a spin-off of The Office turned into something greater. I am your host, William DeVere, and let's talk about Parks and Rec. Let's begin the episode by starting it. The first thing we are going to talk about is the first thing we're going to talk about. Today, we are going to discuss about the Deputy Director, Pawnee native, scrapbook lover, founder, Galentine's Day, extravagant gift giver, waffle lover, and one of the most hard-working women in local government, the iconic protagonist of Parks and Recreation, Leslie Knope, played by comedian Amy Poehler. Leslie Knope is the heart of Parks and Rec. She's a role model. She will give 250% at her job, and she will work very hard to make the world a better place, and she will go above and beyond to help others and to maintain positive relationships. Leslie Knope is just a fun person to be around, and she has some of the best lines in the entire show, and in my opinion, she's a very incredibly written character. People can look up to her. People can inspire to change the world just like how she did, and Amy Poehler does a phenomenal job of portraying Leslie, from the quirkiness to her attitude. Amy Poehler is an excellent actress. I could see no one else portraying Leslie like Amy did. Though the character of Leslie Knope wasn't always the hard-working, fun, and achievable character Leslie is for seasons 2 and 7. In the first season, she was completely different. So, Parks and Rec was supposed to be a spin-off of The Office, but instead it was a separate show. In the first season, Leslie Knope is a carbon copy of Michael Scott. She's the female version of Michael Scott. Leslie Knope comes across as clumsy, lazy, and just dumb. She's late to work most of the time. She's forgetful. She just feels cheesy. The character just didn't work, and we weren't able to root for her. It isn't Amy Poehler's fault. If it was someone else, I'm pretty sure the whole show would have been X. But Amy's charm to the role, like you could see parts of Leslie in season 1 that you would have seen in season 2 and 7. She just wasn't fully written out like she was supposed to. It did set up this amazing relationship between Leslie Knope and her friend Ann Perkins. So in the pilot episode, if you remember, they meet at a town board meeting to discuss complaints about the town, and Ann says about the big pit in her backyard that her boyfriend Andy Dwyer fell into, and the rest is history. So Leslie becomes fulfilled to fill Ann's promise by filling up the pit, and she goes far and beyond to form a friendship with Ann Perkins. That is probably the only reason I like Leslie Knope with the first season. Other than that, she just didn't work for me. I don't think she worked for most people. I don't think even Amy Poehler liked playing Leslie in the first season. And between seasons 1 and 2, she told the writers to change her character, to make her good at her job, and to make her a fun person to be around, and to make her a role model for other women to look up to her. And by season 2, Leslie Knope is the character that you love. All of a sudden, she's very good at her job, she's funny, she's hardworking, and you can root for her all of a sudden. It's almost like Leslie Knope from season 1 and Leslie Knope from season 2 are two entirely different characters. And The first true moment, in my opinion, when you get to see the true Leslie Knope is when she and Tom are judging Miss Pawnee. If you can remember, Leslie wants the sophisticated history and classical music major from Indiana State University to win instead of the hot one. And Tom is cheering on for the hot one even when she's not twirling the baton like Leslie says. She's very dumb. She's just there to party. She just wants to put that tiara on. But Leslie isn't buying it. And she wants to prove to Tom and the other judges that this girl should win and she would represent the town better than Trish would ever represent the town or represent anything. And it's the first moment you're like, go Leslie, go! And you're really excited to root for her in that moment. But as we know, Trish wins, but at the end is one of my favorite moments in the entire series. It's when Leslie gives a speech to particularly Susan, saying that she deserved to win, and she told Trish, well, even though she didn't vote for her, she hopes to see her represent the town in a very sophisticated way. But it's also funny at the same time knowing Trish isn't even paying attention, and she's off in her own world doing whatever. So now we're going to be talking about relationships that Leslie has on the show. So I really like her friendship with Ann Perkins. I think it's one of the greatest TV friendships in the history of television, if not the greatest friendship on television. They're always there for each other. Leslie always cares about Ann, and Ann always cares about Leslie. They want the best for each other. And going back to how Leslie was different in season 1, Ann was the reason that I suppose Leslie Knope changed through the second season. So it's a really great thing to see. They're always there for each other, even when they're falling out or have disagreements. They're always going to be besties. So we're going to be talking about Ben Wyatt and Leslie Knope. In my opinion, they're the greatest television couple in the history of television, better than Ross and Rachel, Jim and Pam, and so many others. They didn't wait like 4 seasons to get them together. They got them together at day 1. Like, they discovered mutual feelings for one another instead of dragging it out, dating other people and all that stuff. It was right there, plain and simple. And they were just so good together. Adam Scott and Amy Poehler had amazing chemistry. And it was really fun to see them getting engaged. Ben always managing her campaigns, and the wedding is one of my favorite episodes in the whole series. So next we're going to be talking about Ron Swanson with Leslie Knope. So that relationship is another one of my favorites because even though Ron doesn't show that he really likes Leslie, deep down he thinks Leslie is a great person and she represents what the Parks Department needs. Like, he does not like government, but he knows for a fact that Leslie is trying to make the government a better place, and for him personally. And I love their relationship in season 7 when they have a falling out over that apartment building being built over Ann's old property, and their reconnection is hilarious, and they both hate each other, and then the next moment they love each other, and it's just really fun to see. The next thing we're going to be talking about is Galentine's Day. I really love those Galentine's Day episodes. Leslie creating Galentine's Day is amazing. So Galentine's Day is on February 13th, and Leslie emphasized Galentine's Day to get together with local women and spend time together, have fellowship, eat, and give gifts to one another and celebrate themselves as women. I really love that Leslie's always trying to put women first in the show, and she wants to build upon those female relationships, which is a really cool thing to see. So the last couple things we are going to talk about is the couple last things we are going to talk about. To end this episode, I want to count down my top 5 Leslie Knope moments. So coming at number 5 is season 2, episode 7, Greg Pikitis. I love that episode. Leslie has an obsession over the mischievous, troublesome Greg Pikitis, who his goal is to wreck everything in Pawnee, and she isn't going to let him do it. She's going to put it into Greg Pikitis, and she'll do everything she can to stop Greg Pikitis. And as we know, Greg outsmarts her, but you gave it a great try, Leslie. And number 4 is in season 4, episode 19, Live Amo, is when Leslie adopts 32 cats and dogs from the animal shelter, and there's this one line that is very funny. Hey honey, good morning. How did you sleep? I adopted 32 cats and dogs. Do you want pancakes? That is total Leslie Berry, and it's really funny that how Amy said it, and just the way Ben has a look on his face saying like, what? Coming in at number 3 is probably one of the greatest episodes of Parks and Rec, is season 4, episode 20, The Debate, and it's the debate for city council. So if you can remember, Leslie came across as condescending for criticizing her opponent Bobby Newport, played by the awesome Paul Rudd, and Paul Rudd was seen very innocent and childish. He just wanted to have a good time, and the whole town rooted for Bobby Newport, but Leslie gives this great speech at the end and saying how she'll improve this town and make Pawnee a better place. It was one of the greatest monologues in TV history. I think Amy Poehler should have won. I think Amy Poehler even wrote the episode. I think she should have gotten an Emmy. It was just snubbed at the Emmys. I don't think Parks and Rec won anything that year. Coming in at number 2 is season 2, episode 10, called Hunting Trip, when Leslie thinks she accidentally shot Ron Swanson in the head, and that whole ordeal with Donna's Mercedes and her stressing over the fact that she shot Ron, and Ron's reaction to it makes me laugh. But the reason I love Leslie in that episode is because she knew who really did it, and that was Tom. So dumb Tom as he is, he decided to go hunting without a hunting license, and she wanted to protect Tom because Tom could face time in jail, and Leslie showed very devoted friendship, even if it was at the risk of losing her job or getting arrested. So our best Leslie Knope moment is coming in at number 1, Born and Raised, season 4, episode 3. Leslie talking about her book on Pawnee Today. That is one of the greatest episodes, not only because of Leslie on Pawnee Today, it's also the episode where Joan gets wasted and she starts singing at the restaurant, and it's one of my personal faves. So if you can remember, Leslie goes on Pawnee Today and discusses about her whole book. Probably took like 6 months. Pawnee, the greatest town in America. She wrote a book about the town, but Joan, who always wants a tabloid incident and a scandal to happen, she does research. She goes digging and finds out that Leslie was born in Eagleton instead of Pawnee, and Joan used that against her and said, "Gotcha!" And she put the gotcha sign on her face on the projection, and the gotcha dancers were dancing because Joan got Leslie. And Pawnee, the greatest town in America, is an actual book, actually. I didn't know that until a couple months ago. So you can buy it off Amazon for $12.96 and at Barnes & Noble for $17.99. It's a really good book. I would totally read it. It's hilarious. It's total Leslie. Leslie has 8 million footnotes, about everything. It's really cool. It's the history, this entertainment, and she even has a whole thing about Eagleton, so that's cool. So that's all the time we have for today. For next time, we will be talking about the sensational Ann Perkins, how Rashida Jones got a redemption from playing Karen in The Office to portraying someone greater, and how Ann changed how the show was. Thank you for tuning in to listen. See you next time.